The universe is fair. In fact, the universe is more than fair. For those of you who are usually making statements like, oh, life is so unfair, life is so unfair, any small thing, life is so unfair, irrespective of whatever the experience that you might have had with life or with your life apparently, because that's what you've had, your life, irrespective of how the challenges or the realities might be for you, the universe is always fair. And I'm here to tell you this so that you can so that this you can help yourself, or you can decide to change your vocabulary. I don't even know how to say it, Gonself. Change your vocabulary with what you profess to yourself. This is not talking positive. This is not one of those, oh, I positive, toxic positivity. I'm not a fan of toxic positivity. I'm not even a fan necessarily of like positivity in terms of, oh, it is well, it is this. That thing, they annoy the shit out of me. They annoy me. But because I am someone who have done the work, like from crutch, elementary, and all of it, I went through the whole stage to understand things. Okay, let me just quickly say what, because the thought of my teenagehood is coming up. Like, I used to be somebody who do not get why in all things you should give thanks. Yes, I be proper church girl before when I be Christian. In all things we should give thanks. Why? Because let me hear what with all you people just give thanks. But I had to ask that question. I said, God, why must I give thanks in all things? And I had that conversation of me sharing my opinion of why I find it compensating to give thanks in all things. But you see, when the answer later came to me in my adulthood, this was a question I asked in my teenage, it came in my adulthood later on. I understood why, because even in my present adulthood, there are things that I have agreed to do, and when that voice comes and say, Priscilla, this is the thing you need to do now, I say okay. And later on, maybe after 1 week or so, I will not realize why I was told that thing. Because like me, I don't know whether you're like that. I have a voice that speaks to me every time. You understand? So for those who can relate to this voice, that's it. And so when I asked about this whole, why do I have to give thanks in all things, the information came clear. The download, the conversation, like this voice, I'm having a conversation. When the download comes, the conversation now starts. This like years later, right? But before then, I was showing up practicing it. But when the understanding came, it was just super clear. And it was part of that I got to also understand that the universe is fair. Let me give you an example. When you take 3 seed of corn, like 3 seed or any seed of crop, and you go and plant it into the ground, and then you water it to do your part. When the thing now grows and ready for harvest, can you tell me how many seeds that you meet? You meet more than seeds. You meet pods of seed, depending on the type of crop you planted, maybe beans. If it's a corn, you meet coals of corn on one crop tree, one crop plant, right? That was part of the analysis this voice was giving to me. Like, and I'm somebody who loves agriculture. Okay, I also had a mother who was also a part farmer as well, and so I understand that this ordinary 3 seed that I put into the ground is not the seed that have not produced the amount of crop or produce, crop produce that I have now, just from 3 seeds. And then I'm like, it means that if I can plant, and then when you plant healthy seeds, is another thing. You just don't carry ugly seeds and put it inside and expect it to grow like all those half, you know, those beans that it will be half, or it will be like, you have to plant healthy seed, and then you get to reap healthy seed. And this is also the reason, my reasoning that backs up things like karma and nemesis, because I have just come to see the consistency even within nature, that the universe or God or any other name, Allah, Amadioa, Ogun, if you're an African spiritualist, that it is fair. Because the ordinances of the universe watch your consistency of how you show up. It is within that consistency of how you show up that they attribute your reaping or your harvest to you. And of course, this also includes our behaviors. What we do, what we think, how we respond, how we react, everything, like jollof rice. It all determines how you cook it, is how it will be sweet now. So personally, I just find it very, I don't know if I would say this, not disheartening, but I find it very, English word. I find it very concerning. Why would anyone say that the universe is unfair? You are breathing. You don't have to think and calculate to breathe. You breathe. You don't have, there are so many things you already get for free, or say you get it on privileges, to be able to work out the other things that you need to work out. And mind you, when you're working out the other things, you're not doing it alone. However, there are some things you also have to do alone, because the universe is not just benevolent. The universe is like a healthy parent that is parenting you correctly. That is parenting you healthily. The universe parenting us healthily is going to teach you discipline. So for you to learn discipline, how else will you learn discipline if not in the face of adversaries now? How else will you learn to control yourself, or whether it's anger, whether it's sexual urge, whether it's whatever that urge or craving is? How else will you learn how to control or own control over your own self and dominance over your own self if you don't face trial and tribulation? Let me know now. How else you want to take happen? So when we are going through trials and tribulations that are completely bizarre, they are so cruel and hurting, it's not because one universe, one God, one Amadioa, one Allah, one Ike, anyone way you believe in, wants to punish you. It's training you. It's training you. And there's this thought that's coming to my head now. I'm an autistic person. I have also seen an autistic person, how a parent is parenting an autistic person. And the autistic person is now looking like they cannot function by themselves. You're not looking like bole. You know how they talk bole? Like they're picking, they look like bole. They look like, if you do anything, they look like, they look like bole. They look like bread with on soap water. There is a place for everything. There's a place where you love. And I personally believe that love is not complete until discipline is part of it. So yes, I'm one of those who don't agree with all this parenting, gentle parenting, because the gentle parenting that doesn't have discipline is only masked of an unhealthy parent who is only projecting their own fears and insecurity and lack of discipline onto their child or onto their parenting. So all this idea of conditional love, this, and then all of a sudden there is no discipline. There is a time for everything. Remember, time and season. So in that place of time where you need to be in the wilderness to what? to, as a character, we call it sprout. Well, you need to sprout. You need to move your muscle. You need to build muscle. You need to build your techniques. After they don't show you this is how you do, this is how you block, this is how you do, you have to put it to practice. So knowledge without application is not going to give you power, right? I'm assuming we all know this part, as in we have PhD in the class. Personal development PhD. Yeah. So when since we already know this, it automatically also means that when you're going through storms, through challenges, you are sprouting. You are building muscles, you are sharpening your application of the knowledge you've acquired. For those of you who acquired the knowledge, because that's another conversation. Because there are some people who did not sit down for the knowledge class, but they want to just know the answer. How will that happen? How? There's always cause and effect. You not sit down in the class to get knowledge, but you want to know the answer. Because why will that happen? So there is a place where the knowledge is being given, and there are many people who jump that class through maybe their parenting experience, because I've heard a lot of adults who left home because they felt like the discipline was too much. But when I now look into their present adult life, I am like, holy moly, me self, I cannot even have you around me or have myself around you, because you are a jeopardy. You are a complete risk without any form of profits. When you want to take risk, take calculated risk. The kind of risk that you need to take, that you are a kind of risk that will not add any value to me. Why? Because you did not do that stage one, that stage of receiving the knowledge first. Receive the knowledge, and then life will promote you to the next stage where you now apply. But I've met quite a handful of people who did not stay through that knowledge, but are now in the stage of their life where they are now not just ordinary, not that type of confused where the healthy confused. They don't know, they are lost, because the time where they're supposed to come down from the bus, the wrong bus where they enter, they were doing stubborn head. They wanted to move forward and keep going, even when everybody, conductor, driver, don't tell them, say, madam, oga, this place where they go, no join where you they go, come down for here, go enter bus where they go that place, or turn back. They will say no, they don't want to turn back, they want to find, and they get lost, and then they burn on resources that is not necessary. Now they are now in that present space of their life where they don't know how to start from, where they won't start to debate the money to start to enter motor. Why? Because of unnecessary stubbornness. Always understand that there is disadvantage and advantage. There is how do I want to put it in this context? There is time and season. There is the appropriate time to be stubborn. There's an appropriate time to be a more. Just be looking, okay. Because you don't know. There's an appropriate time, quote or unquote, you allow yourself to be taken advantage of. Because first of all, number one, you don't even know what you should prevent, or how to prevent yourself from being taken advantage of. Those are the times universe allow those things happen to you, because they are showing you how to identify the things that are not healthy for you. So if you now skip those classes, how would you sharpen your discernment? How would you sharpen your intuition? How would you sharpen your instincts? These are the experience. You see, one thing I've come to really personally appreciate God or the universe or source for is that over practicality. The classes of the universe is fucking practical. It is fucking practical. If you are somebody that is not ready for life, you will just be swept aside. And those are the people I find saying every time I happen to bump in them, or they bump in my way, and they are trying, they see me that, you are somebody that have had enough experience of life. Like, how did you get to where you are? When I watch and observe them, there are people who are not ready. The AKA statement, they are not ready to learn. And so they end up becoming the statistics of life is unfair. That's the conversation here, guys. And my name is Lord, aka Priscilla Phillips. And I'm talking about the abundance of reasons why life is fair. The only time you catch anybody saying life is unfair is those people who refuse to adhere to the process of life. And when I mean life, I'm talking of life force, the supreme being that we are all an expression of, or an extension of. They refuse to listen. And the one thing again I love about this God or life force or source is that, the first person, whatever want to claim created us, gave us free will. That I personally respect. And this is why I don't force anybody to do anything. This is why I don't force myself on people or chase on people. Because what is mine will follow, will come through. All I need to do is identify what is for me, what I want, what I desire, and how that aligns to the truth or to the divinity of my life and path. Abi? So, what am I all saying in this in this jargons of plenty English? Is that life is fair. For those of us who understand, who have allowed ourselves go through the process of life force to teach us, life is now beyond fair. To me personally, life is not fair. Life is more than fair, more than fucking fair, and always delivers results, always honors its word or itself. Whatever that thing is, life source always honors it. So when I hear people say life is unfair, it just makes me like wonder from the place of curiosity to what has led this person to say this. Because me, I don't believe it. I have gone through things as someone who is an orphan, as someone who is queer, as someone who is woman, as someone who is a Nigerian living in Nigeria, like as someone who grew up somewhere. As in, like, how else do I want to tell you that I have experienced certain things of life? And I'm here to tell you that life is more than fair. When you do your part, because the universe will not, what's the word? The universe is so emotionally intelligent that you cannot decide not to do your part and then expect the universe to give you a result. Does that make sense? As a consultant, that completely is a process I do. If you don't do your part as a client to me, how the fuck do you think I'm going to give you results as a consultant in your business marketing or your business strategy or your content or whatever the form of business or area of business support that you hire me to solve and impact the value that you desire to manifest there? So the only time people who use that expression, life is not fair, are people who did not do their part. And when I sit down and hear their stories and they tell me about themselves, just for them to, I guess, prove the point that life is not fair, I see the huge gulf in the place where they had lacked, where they had not done their part, where they had not shown up, where they are so grossly unfucking grateful. And I'm like, sometimes I sit down and say, man, see, God, you try, you now they try. All of them, God source, now they try, because I have experienced another fellow woman get very ungrateful. Like, I mean, every time she'll be complaining, this work. One day I had to turn to her. I said, why don't you leave the job alone? She kept quiet for a very long time. I said, no, it's not as if I don't like it. So why are you complaining? It's like, I love my job. So why are you complaining? I've never heard you grateful for your work, for your job. You are 247. Fuck, that thing scratches my ear. And as an autistic person, I don't like unpleasant noise. Like, why? And then you expect more to be given to you when you have not been faithful in the little. Like, how are people doing their maths? Apparently, I had a C in WAEC. So I'm not like a fantastic, mathematics person. But in the maths of life, it's clear. It's very easy and straightforward. And then personally, I've come to see the connection between the connection between gratitude and doing your part in the place of the universe being fair to you. Again, for me personally in my life, the universe is more than fair. Because if you plant only 3 seeds and you come back for harvest after you water it, you've done your part, you see more than 3 seeds. You see cones of corn, you see pods of beans, and depending on the crop that you planted. You're telling me that life is not fair? You are a ungrateful motherfucking vagabond that have refused to listen. Life is more than fair. Life, in fact, life is too fair. Life is appropriately balanced. Is how you give it or give into it or invest into it is exactly how you would receive. The only difference is that you receive more. So to those people who are always saying life is unfair, my question to you is, did you do your part in the partnership with life to manifest the desires of your dreams, of your goals, of your vision? Did you 100% do your part?